The service has been very, very eventful for me. I have enjoyed each of my service years. It's almost 35 years. When I sit down and look back, it's been good. It had its ups and downs and what have you, It wasn't a bed of roses. But I think I thank God for, that opportunity I have had, to serve my state.
A very dedicated public officer, very committed, very humane, ready to help officer. And she's somebody that should be celebrated. We should celebrate her as she's leaving the public service.
On Sunday, 10th of March 1957, a new journey of life began in the household of Alhaji and Alhaja Amid Akonyeko here in Lagos. It was the life of a little girl that is now known today as Sherifat Folashade Jaji. With a strong family tradition rooted in academics and hard work, Sherifat started her early education at Anglican Girls Primary School in Surulere here in Lagos, obtaining the first school leaving certificate with distinction in 1969. She proceeded to Queen's College, Onike, Yaba for her secondary school education, passing out in 1974 with a West African School Certificate, WASC, Grade 1. She followed this with a Higher School Certificate, HSC, in 1976.
Yes, she's my sister. We went to the same primary school. I remembered an occasion when she was ill. She was asked not to go to school. There we stayed with our grandmother, and my grandmother had to go out. Before she came back, my sister had gone to school. So that's the kind of person she has been from the onset. She's always been somebody who has, tend towards academics.
That same year, Folashade was admitted into the University of Ibadan to study chemistry. This she successfully completed in 1979 and was awarded a Bachelor of Science Honours degree in chemistry. In 1985, the quest for academic excellence took her to the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, in Badagry, where she pursued the postgraduate diploma in public administration. She eventually topped up her academic pursuit with a Master of Business Administration degree at the University of Lagos in Akoka in 1989.
I have known her now for the past 38 years when we were undergraduates at the University of Ibadan. She's a very quiet person, very lovely human being, unassuming. I've never seen her fight, empathize with people. She likes to see things from the human angle, always. And like I always tell her, if you become a politician, I will always vote for you.
After her compulsory national service observed at the Nigerian Breweries PLC, Folashade on Monday 27th of October 1980 started her eventful career in the Lagos State Civil Service with a brief stint at the Judicial Service Commission. She was moved from there to the Political Affairs Department in the Governor's Office in Lagos, where she served between 1980 and 1982. Thereafter, she moved to the Civil Service Commission, where she further learned the rudiments of the service between 1982 and 1984. From 1985 to 1992, Folashade was at the Programs and Budget Department in the Office of the Military Governor. She later served as the Secretary, State Tenders Board in the Cabinet Office. It was during her tenure as the Board Secretary that she initiated the payment of administrative charges by contractors to reduce the burden of the cost of processing contract awards on the government.
He's my boss. She's also his sister. She's also a mentor. Mrs. Jaji is an erudite administrator. I would say she belongs to one of the last set of the origin of fine administrators in the service. Having worked in various establishment agencies before she finally vetted as head of service, she has seen it all as an administrator par excellence. She's somebody that combines beauty with passion, with dedication and commitment to work.
She was deployed to the General Services Bureau and the Public Service Office as the Director of Finance and Supply, where she distinguished herself. This was followed in 1999 by her movement to the Ministry of Establishments, Trainings and Job Creation as the Director of Training. She occupied this position until 2001.
I've always seen her as an easygoing person and somebody who is very, very factual, very blunt. And she's the kind of person that would have a point to make, and she will make it succinctly and defend it all the way, no matter what any other person is saying. And I've always admired the way she could stand out, of the crowd and hold a point that maybe even others are not holding. I remember at permanent secretaries meetings when she would make a point, and despite the fact that people are saying no, she says, no, I want to make this point, and I think you should allow me to make my point. I'm entitled to my opinion. So she's somebody who has an opinion, she wants to air it, and she wants to defend it. She's very good at that. And she's quite passionate about her job. When I became head of service, I had to rely a lot on her. She had her way with the unions. So whenever the troubles started, I would call on her. Shade, they have started, your people have started. In her soft manner, she kind of knew what to say at the right time. And she will calm the nerves, call a meeting, we'll speak with them. And before you know it, everything is sorted out.
Sherifat also worked at the defunct Teaching Service Commission, TESCOM, as the Director of Finance and Administration, and later the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation as a Director in the Poverty Alleviation Department. At these various positions, she carved a niche for herself, emerging as a thoroughbred human resource personnel.
Mrs. Jaji was then our DFA, and we had cause to work together. I can tell you, I'm not flattering her because I believe in her person. She has passion for this job, and she was able to do it and do it effectively. When you're in a committee with Mrs. Jaji, you can go to bed. Just give her what you have as idea, and together you can develop. And at committees meetings, she will not just be somebody that, you've closed work for the day and she's going to go to bed. Tomorrow she's going to come back to you. Yes, I've developed what we discussed. Is there anything you'd like to add? Without even having the opportunity of sitting together, I've had to work in so many ways with her, and I can attest to her competency, I can attest to her diligence, to her commitment, and her focus while she was with us in service.
The working relationship is so cordial. She was the type that actually was downright factual. She told me this is another ball game. Very realistic. She will tell you what she feels about issues, and she will also tell you how she wants it done. She's the type who would always want to have your opinion before taking the final decision.
Is a woman of many parts. She is what I can call a quintessential public administrator. She's painstaking when it comes to processes and procedures. But she goes out of her way to teach you and to explain to you why those things must be done the way they should be done.
In recognition of her sterling quality and immense contribution to the development of the public service, Mrs. Folashade Jaji was appointed a permanent secretary, an elite class of public servants, on 18th February of 2005 by the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. She was deployed to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, WAPA.
She, along with the former Deputy Governor of the state, Her Excellency Mrs. Adejokere, worked together to the success of the ministry in terms of the implementation of the domestic violence law as well as the child rights law.
In November 2008, Mrs. Sherifat Jaji was redeployed to the Teachers Establishment and Pensions Office, TEPO, where she coordinated capacity building for classroom teachers, promotion and pension matters. And on 1st of March 2011, she was moved to the Ministry of Establishments, Training and Pensions to oversee the Office of Establishments and Training. She held this position until Monday 16th of February 2015, when she was appointed as the 18th Head of Service of Lagos State.
Mrs. Jaji is diligence personified. She is an apostle of organizational reforms and effectiveness. Never a dull moment with her. And when I say never a dull moment, it's not about being flippant or frivolous. She is somebody who is active. When you see a man diligent in his work, he shall stand before kings and not mean men. I see Mrs. Folashade Jaji bringing out what that scripture verse means. She is a general that inspires her troops. Most of the time, when I take decisions here, I refer to the days when I was working with her as the director of establishment.
She was a big sister to all her staff, and she impacted all of us positively in terms of what we expect to do and what we expect to know as public servants. And every day I remember working with her, and I always give glory to God that it's been a worthwhile experience.
As the head of service, Shade Jaji used a position to facilitate and record various achievements. These include the completion of the revision of the Lagos State Public Service Rules of 2015, re-establishment of Post-Primary Teaching Service Commission, inauguration of the Summit of Retired Heads of Service and Permanent Secretaries, the professionalization of human resource management in the state's public service, and the reformation of the local government administration. A tenure also saw the facilitation of the payment of 11 billion naira being pension arrears for the state and local government retirees, the unveiling of the handbook on work ethics, and key information on the state civil service, the release of 50 million naira as housing loan to staff, and the rejuvenation and reinvigoration of cooperative societies. There was also the review and streamlining of remunerations and tenures of chief executive officers of government-owned agencies, and the establishment of a quarterly consultative meeting with heads of parastatal organizations and heads of administration of local government and local county development areas. It is on record that Folashade, who was a recipient of the Long Service Meritorious Award as far back as the year 2011, served on various committees and programs. These include Committee of Pensioners' Complaints and National Urban Youth Employment and Empowerment Program, amongst others.
Folashade Jaji, as the head of service, she's a mother. She doesn't think it is all for government. Workers, indeed, is in most of his arts.
A seasoned and astute administrator, Folashade Jaji has attended various courses and workshops such as the International Federation of Training and Development Organization Conference and Training Delivery Skills of RIPA International, both in the United Kingdom. She participated in the 59th session of the United Nations Commission on the status of women in New York. She is a member of various professional associations, amongst which are member, Institute of Directors, alumnus of the International Visitors Leadership Program of the American government, fellow and board member of the Institute of Public Administration of Nigeria, amongst others. Happily married to Biodun Jaji and blessed with children. Folashade's rise to the pinnacle of her public service career is no doubt attributed to God and a home front that is supportive and encouraging.
I call her Shade, that's my Shade. She's been a very good, loyal, dependable wife, good mother, and it's been a wonderful marriage, which has been very commendable. So really she's been an outstanding partner, very quiet, but very strict, and very good disciplinarian as well, but she's very warm.
She's a pretty phenomenal woman. She's you know, I think she's packaged in an amazing way. She looks really sweet and cute. But my mom says she's a hustler, like yeah, you know. And she's a coded hustler. You know, she's a woman of, I think she's a woman of virtue. She's caring, she's thoughtful, she's generous. You know, she can be a bit nosy. Kofu ni bolon lo. Kofu time we ma pada wa. Mo tin pe o gbe phone. You know, it's like what egbo enkan kilo so. You know, she's very caring.
Mommy, me, as I call her. She is the best woman that I know, and she is the most hardworking woman that I know, and she doesn't compromise on anything. Everything she does it to the best of her ability, and she's a very wonderful mother.
I think mom is the best idol anyone could ask for. She was strict, you know, kept tabs on us, gave us awesome advice, you know. Mom, she's graceful, you know, both internally and externally. Mom is just awesome. I have to say, out of the triplets, most times Mom and I don't see eye to eye, but she's always been there for us, you know. And you know, she's strict, she's sympathetic, she's empathetic. She's just, I mean, when I grow up, I'd like to be like her.
She's a very, very unique human being. Honestly, I haven't seen anybody like her. She's very charismatic, loving, wonderful. She's like a mother to me.
As she retires on attainment of the statutory age of 35 years in service, it is an outpouring of wishes and many more wishes for her exemplary contributions to the development of Lagos State Public Service.